Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use Naira Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets, play in our exclusive promotions, and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. Naira Bets, racing's best play. Sign up to Naira Bets and get a $200 bonus. Naira Bets, racing's best play.
Welcome back to Out of the Gate. Race number 5 at Churchill Downs on the Kentucky Oaks undercard is the Grade 1 Troiene Stakes for fillies and mares going a mile and a 16th. Let's take a look at this field. Our Troiene Stakes preview is presented by Naira Bets. Now, this is an intriguing race. We'll bring Matt Bernier in a second. 6-5 morning line on the number 8 Finest City, and deservedly so. But there's a major question mark as to whether Finest City will even participate in this race, because she's also cross-entered in the Humana Distaff at arguably her preferred distance, 7 furlongs on Saturday afternoon. We bring in Matt. If Finest City runs in this spot, she's going to be real tough.
She's odds on, and she is strictly the horse to beat. She's controlling speed in this spot, a mile and a 16th. That distance, I don't think is really a problem. I'm sure the 7/8 is probably more what she would prefer, but when you look at this and say you could be 2-5 in a Grade 1, boy, it's going to be tough to say no to this, isn't it?
Could all come down to the weather. At least that's what the connections are saying. We're expecting a lot of rain in Louisville Tuesday, Wednesday, into Thursday, into Friday. Maybe it'll taper off just a little bit on Kentucky Derby Saturday, and perhaps they would want to run on a more drying out surface. Let's watch Finest City's most recent race, the Santa Margarita. They stretched her all the way out. They were game to try a red-hot mare in Vale Dory. She was far from disgraced, Finest City.
She took her shot. Keep in mind, this is also at a mile and an 1/8, and this spot here in the La Troienne would be at a mile and a 16th. And she is well clear of the rest of the field, and Vale Dory is just rock solid, razor sharp right now for Baffert. There's no disgrace in running, a length and a half behind, running second in a Grade 1. She did nothing wrong there. You made mention the weather. Maybe that they're going to prefer sort of a more drying out track on Saturday afternoon for the Humana, but I have to be honest. You look at this field and you go, without her, I mean, are you terrified of paid-up subscriber? I know I'm not.
From a speed figure standpoint, she towers over this field. Class lines, she shows up on big races. Again, she is way the horse to beat. Let's get her in the gate first. Let's see what the Timeform US Pace Projector has to say for the Grade 1 La Troienne Stakes. And not surprisingly, they've got Finest City. We know she's got gas going to the front, but let's assume she scratches. The great thing about the Pace Projector is on the Timeform US website, it'll automatically update for scratches, and that'll make this pace more rated, and you'll have 2 intriguing long shots up there, the 2 Impasse, the 3 Big World. Let's start with Impasse.
I have to be honest, if she does scratch, all of a sudden, you know, I understand it just looks like 2, 3, and 9 all of a sudden will just immediately go to the front. I wonder if at that point it's going to become kind of a cat and mouse game, who's going to go and who's not going to go. If Impasse does go, and I know on paper she's incredibly slow, but I took a shot with her in the Bayakoa, and you know what, she ran like the 1,000,000-to-1 shot that she was. She came back most recently, though. I was impressed with it. She got a really good ride down on the inside, shot up the wood. She got a little bit of tactical speed. Apparently, you hear some of the workouts down there in Louisville earlier this week. Impasse is working sort of in an atypical fashion to the Lucas horses, where she's galloping out well. She got a little bit of early tactical speed. She's going to be 1,000,000-to-1 in here, whether Finest City goes or not. Don't know about the wet track, but she's one that I wouldn't be afraid to take a shot with at a big number.
She beat a sharp horse last time out. The runner-up in that race came back to win by over 7 lengths. Bayard 84 at Churchill Downs. Impasse is interesting, especially if she's up close. And what do you say about Big World? This is a Louisiana bred by custom for Carlos. She's won 4 out of her last 5 races. She likes to win races. And if she's up close to a moderate pace, you got to upgrade her chances. She's 20-to-1 on the line.
And if you just look at the buyers, it's not like she's that far behind even the main contenders in here. We'll talk about paid-up subscriber in a minute, but paid-up subscriber has about 390+ buyers. You take those out of the equation, all of these fillies are pretty equally matched. And again, this is assuming Finest City doesn't go.
Paid-up subscriber, if Finest City doesn't go, is going to be a heavy favorite. I respect her. I think she would be an underlay at that sort of price. She won the Fleur de Lis last year at Churchill Downs. It's nice to know that she's got experience at Churchill. Last time out, you can make the argument. We're going to see her finish 3rd in the Madison. It was just a prep for this eventual stretch out. Let's take the folks through the lane with paid-up subscriber.
Now, keep in mind, this is the first time out for Chad Brown. Now, she's angled out into the clear at this point. She didn't have a ton of pace to run at, and it helped being going forward throughout. And those top two are pretty good. Paula Silver Lining and Constellation. I don't like that you're going to see paid up subscriber pop back to her left lead. I understand maybe she was a little bit tired at the end of this race. And maybe this is a very logical sort of progression, going from a 7/8 race into a 2-turn mile and 16th race at her preferred racetrack. Keep in mind, she loves Churchill Downs. I just don't think she has some giant edge.
I respect her stretching out. I agree with you. I was a little concerned that she hopped back to her left lead late. Maybe she was a short horse. She's run well second off the layoff in the past. Let's talk about Streamline. You know she's one of my favorite mares. I'm not really sure she's truly a Grade 1 class mare, but you take Finest City out of here, maybe this is not a true Grade 1 race. Let's watch Streamline's most recent start. It was the Apple Blossom. This was a Grade 1 race because Stellar Wind, the winner, she's something else.
Yeah, and look, let's even say with the runner-up. If you put Terra Promessa in this race, she would at least be a serious contender in here. And you see Streamline, she's in third. She's trying the entire way. She's never going to get close to the top two. But the interesting thing is that race right there that you're taking a look at, that might be good enough to win in here, particularly if Finest City doesn't go. If Finest City runs here, she's probably up against it. If she doesn't go and paid up subscriber is some odds-on sort of choice, Streamline has every right to win this race.
Romantic Vision is a horse who's stepping up in class, but she got it done last time out at Keeneland. Her first start off a little bit of a layoff. I thought that speed was stopping most of the day at Keeneland, however, and she only received an 85 buyer.
The race has come back awful. Let's just call a spade. But if you go back and watch the tape, she had an eventful trip. She had a couple different things she had to overcome. She had to tap on the brakes on the far turn before angling out, and she finished very, very well. My biggest concern with her, she doesn't run very well at Churchill. I believe 5 times she's run there. She's run second or third 3 times with 0 victories.
Javier and Todd send out a skin for money down on the rail, and while she's placed in graded stakes races in both starts this year, I wonder if she's in her best form. Second last time out behind Streamline and that Azeri. That was just a weird race from start to finish.
You know, yeah, the Azeri particularly because you had Terra Promessa for some reason was rated off the pace and she just despised that. Eskin for money, I've never ever liked this horse. You have to respect Pletcher no matter what, but this is just a horse where I'm basically looking at it saying, if she wins, I lose.
The question mark in this race is Go Maggie Go, and we have to talk about her because she was so good last spring, winning the Gulfstream Park Oaks, winning the Black-Eyed Susan, a good 4th in the Kentucky Oaks, and then she seemed to go off form. I think Dale Romans did the right thing putting her away after a disastrous performance in the Fall City. She's fresh. We know she has speed when she's right. I don't know. If you're not happy with this race or don't think it's a true representative Grade 1, why not Go Maggie Go?
You know, I wanted to talk myself into it because I really liked her last year as a 3-year-old, but I said it, I believe, right after the Oaks before they ran the Black-Eyed Susan, and I know I said it before the Acorn. You are throwing a lot at this horse in a short amount of time. She didn't even debut until the beginning of March. I wonder if we saw in those 2 races at the end last year where she ran at Saratoga, no, I'm not going to hold that against her, she ran in Songbird, and then that final race against Older at Churchill, I wonder if you saw the effects of trying to squeeze way too much in a short amount of time. If she comes back to what she was early on as a 3-year-old, she certainly has a chance. I got to be honest, I don't want to find out.
Factory of Faith's probably going to be the longest shot in the board, but it's worth noting that Joe Sharp took over Power of Snunner's training earlier this year, last year, and that old veteran, he got a couple of nice placings, but this one's got to improve.
It certainly needs to improve, but I got to be honest, it was a pretty big effort most recently, had a bad start and was wide every step of the way. Sneaky maybe underneath.
Pick time for the Grade 1 La Troienne. Matt, where are you going?
Yeah, look, if Finest City runs, I think she's going to win. She just towers over this field, not only on class, but also on speed figures, more importantly on speed figures. If she doesn't go, paid up subscriber, the horse to beat, wouldn't argue with anyone, don't want her at a short number. Give me the coach. Take a shot with Lucas and impasse the number 2. Particularly, again, if Finest City's gone, we saw the pace projector, maybe she gets a sneaky sort of forward trip and can take this field around the track.
If Finest City runs, I think Finest City's going to win at a short price. The best horse getting the best trip, controlling the pace up front. Her participation heavily in doubt, however. If she scratches, it's a much better betting race because I think paid up subscriber, while she's good, while she's the horse to beat, she can be had perhaps by the number 6 Streamline, who's adaptable, versatile, and she ran really well last time out. She was just no match for Stellar Wind. So Finest City for me, if not Finest City, Streamline, 8, 6, 1, and 4 for me in the Grade 1 La Troienne.